Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Your Impact Attack. It is I, Colin Wysong, here on podbean.com / Hami
What?
Media Group.
Huh? Say it again.
Oh, not Podbean. God, why did what? See, too much pizza. Too much pizza in the brain. Too much thin crust mousse over here with some pineapple. Vet, what are you doing today? Let the people know where they can find them. I'm scrambled over here.
Yeah. You could look. Just Google Hami Media Group. I'm sure something will come up. You know. Um, but yeah. So we're on Patreon for sure. So if you check out
That's
Hami
it.
Media Group at Patreon, you got all of our stuff. Whether it's the what you choose your tier. Or you can have like the Impact Attack and some of our other shows on the free public tier to listen to. But everything you can get at Hami Media Group at Patreon.
What's up, Society Reviews?
Society Reviews, my favorite fan. Um, yeah. So yeah, what's going on with me is I'm struggling not to melt. Now it's not. It wasn't 113 today. That was like a over forecast, but it is 102 as of right now.
Is that just the sun, or is that also all of the wildfires that is slowly cooking California right now?
Mm, it's well where I am. There's no fire, so it's just the sun here.
Just the sun. Okay.
Yeah, so I
Apparently in
can
Death
deal with
Valley
that.
it hit 130 degrees today. Like it was a record.
That's a made up
130
number.
degrees in Death Valley.
That's well. How's the Undertaker gonna survive?
I don't know how he does it. I mean,
I guess he
that's
didn't. He's
pain
dead.
weather.
He's dead, right? So
Yeah,
he
that's
didn't
pain
survive.
weather. Imagine the stink of the Undertaker after a 130-degree day in Death Valley. Ugh.
Man, I don't
Worse than
want to think.
Katie Vick.
Nothing's worse than that. Um, but yeah, so how hot is it out there for you, man?
It's a balmy, humidity ridden 80 something, maybe close to 90 degrees.
ooh, I'll take a no humidity 100 over a over a
You
humid
you
90.
walk outside and immediately you have swamp ass.
Basically, you get out of
Every
the shower and you
Yeah,
have swamp ass.
every car you get in is just the hottest thing in the world, and
Hmm.
with leather seats,
Yep.
it's the worst. You don't
Even
want to
if
deal with
your
that.
car had some sort of cloth upholstery, they turn to leather when it gets that high.
Sticking
Yeah,
to you, you just peel right off of it.
yeah, it's pretty nasty. But speaking of hot, um, let's jump right into this because we just had. If we had done this show on time, Buckshot Kid, we wouldn't have been able to talk about UFC 264,
Exactly. You take
right?
this love of MMA that I'm about to give you, and the vet's about to
Yes.
give you, all up in
Yeah,
your ear
take it, put
holes
it in your
and your
mouth.
eye
No, put
holes.
it in your mouth instead.
Oh, whoa,
Open wide.
yeah.
Here it comes. So you know what? I watched the whole show. I mean, I just skipped past everything except the actual fighting, because I had to, I had to work and I had to avoid spoilers and stay off my phone all night and everything till I got home and was able to finish watching it. But I saw all the fights. So what were you able to check out from this?
So I watched Sugar Shane O'Malley
Okay.
beat up a guy who just kept coming
Yeah. Let's.
forward the whole
Yeah.
entire time. That was a definitely a questionable stoppage by Herb Dean there, but the dude was getting his butt kicked. I mean, he was about to. I think he did set the all-time record for most significant strikes in a fight, breaking Nate Diaz's record on dude's face.
Certainly percentage, right?
Yeah,
I mean, percentage landed of thrown. Like I've never. Those were astronomical numbers, and so
and then Yana Kunitskaya getting just bombed in the first round by Irene Aldana. That's some good stuff there in the co-main event and the undercards and stuff like that.
all right. Yeah. So yeah, Sean O'Malley. Someone put a tomato can in front of him that actually tried to take swings, and it started to get really sad after a while. And he got the crowd on his side because they were clearly pro Sugar, and
Oh yeah.
and then all of a sudden by the end, they were on this kid's side. But to quote the great Rocky Balboa from I believe it's Rocky Five, ain't no law to duck. You know, you don't have to just stand right in front of every punch. You can at least try to like
Well, that's what Sugar was doing. Sugar was like ducking and throwing punches like a Dominic Cruz.
Yeah,
Like
but I mean, it's one thing if you're trying to get out of the way of punches and you still get hit. It's another thing if you just walk straight forward, take all these punches.
That's how the Korean Zombie got his name.
Yeah, but even he does some head movement. I mean, come on, man. This kid, like, I respect the fact that he took 200 punches to the face, and obviously you should have to reconsider, like, if you ever plan on moving up in this division and being a serious contender, Sean O'Malley, like, if he couldn't have knocked this kid out in this amount of time with this amount of punches, he's in serious trouble against anybody that can actually fight back. So I want him to know that with all his weirdness and his tattoos and hair and everything like that, if you couldn't finish this kid, be very careful about who you select for your next opponent.
I would have to disagree with you there, Vet, because Nick Diaz is known as a type of guy who wins by like 1,000 cuts. You know, he's a triathlon guy. He knows how to conserve the gas tank. He peppers you with shots the whole entire match to kind of hit you, lull you into a sense to hit you with some harder ones on the end of his 4 or 5 hit combinations. So I mean, if I pepper you with 100 jabs throughout the fight and I don't really put too much power behind it, you're probably still going to be pretty frustrated and looking pretty rough after I punch you in the eye a couple times, and you're definitely going to feel it in the gas tank with just my fist in your face all day. So I do feel like he's kind of a hybrid. He's like this Nick Diaz, Dominic Cruz style type of fighter.
Well, we're not gonna know because this guy, I forget his name already.
Chris
Matino. Okay, yeah, yeah. He didn't really even hardly throw any punches, and certainly none of them really landed.
He blocked with his face the whole time.
So we're not gonna know. But they're not all gonna be like this, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if you, I get what you're saying, but you're making a different point altogether. You're just talking. You're basically praising O'Malley's weirdness, which is great and all, but I mean, who has he ever beat, right? To use an old wrestling terminology. So this was I'm just saying, like, if you can't knock a guy out with 250 punches, just be careful. That's all I said. I mean, can you really refute what I'm saying here?
No, I mean, he's got leg issues too. That's his biggest thing. Which, speaking of leg issues, in the main event, we saw some leg issues.
Do we really want? Do we need to talk about anything else? I don't really remember. Actually, what was the co-main event? Was Stephen
Thompson and Gilbert Burns.
Bro, I'm so done with Wonder Boy. I'm done with him, bro. Yeah. I'm just done with him.
His run against Tyron Woodley, that was kind of it for him. He's like a gatekeeper fighter now.
Yeah, it's just there's no. I'm tired of seeing him. So yeah, let's talk about the main event. How weird was that? Not weird, just like, and disappointing. Imagine all those people that got so excited. This was gonna be a pretty decent fight here, and then shit. Who could have predicted that?
One guy did, actually. There was a guy on Twitter that about 3 hours before the main event tweeted out, "I have a feeling that Conor's going to break his leg tonight." he had about 2,000 or 3,000 likes and a bunch of retweets and stuff like that after it came true. So there's literally like one guy.
It's like, I told you guys, like it was so obvious
it was going to happen. No, I mean, it's he's throwing kicks. We've seen it recently. I think that had a lot to do. I mean, he definitely rolled his ankle, but the kicks probably had a little something to do with hurting it. And he was landing some nice leg kicks to kind of get back at Dustin Poirier for that last fight. And Poirier was checking some and taking some on the knee, and they threw that punch and they both missed. And when Conor kind of fell back, that's when he rolled his ankle and it went down and it looked nasty. When they show that replay, he legit stands on his broken.
Yes, I didn't see it the first couple of times, and then they show it again. Like, oh my god!
It's because Ray has a nice little question. Why is everyone snapping their legs in MMA now? One of the things that you want to do in MMA, and they do it in Muay Thai, is they kick trees. And they kick like wood and straight up things to kind of create micro fractures in their shins. And then as those microfractures heal over time, it fills in and hardens the bones. Because you know how they say if you break
Yeah,
a
it
bone, it grows back
calcifies.
stronger. It
It
calcifies and
calcifies
it
and
makes that whole leg and shin bone a lot stronger. All these guys are doing are going in the gym and throwing as hard as they can at pads, throwing it hard as they can at like heavy bags. They're not really hitting something that's going to be like shin on shin or shin on knee. And that's why these guys are snapping legs like that.
yeah, nobody wants to do that.
Leg kicks are the new cool thing. They've seen how these little calf kicks have started to do it. So now we're seeing more broken legs because guys are throwing more lower kicks than what they used to in MMA.
Yeah. Although, they have been around since day one. It's just they weren't as
Yes, they
sexy
do
and
keep
cool.
skipping leg day.
Yeah, but you got to be like that Tong Po, in the room, kicking the pillar, shaking
Have you
the
ever
building.
watched Chocolate? Not Chocolat. It's Chocolate.
Chocolate? No.
It's a martial arts movie where the girl has autism, and she sits there and she watches these Muay Thai fighters, and she learns to fight Muay Thai just by watching them. And the whole
so she's the Taskmaster?
So gist of the movie is that she can learn different fighting styles and things just by watching you, and she can tune in on what you're doing and figure it out, and it helps her throughout the movie. And it's like a really good like martial arts movie. I can't remember if it's Thai or Vietnamese, but it's called Chocolate, and it's really, really good. You should check it out. I know you're the fan of.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it around. I've seen it today actually going through. I think it was on Amazon Prime, right?
I saw it a long time ago. Yeah, but it's really good. Like, definitely check it out because I don't want to spoil it. But there's a really cool scene towards the end where she's just getting her ass kicked, and like in most like Dragon Ball Z and One Piece and stuff like that, the light turns on and she just starts whooping dude's ass, and it's pretty cool.
Okay, well, I want to first thing I want to do before I forget, and Big Ray's still here. Shout out! Somebody's got a special birthday today, Colin. You know about this, right?
No, who? Oh, yes, of course I know who has a special birthday today.
Oh, well, then tell everybody.
Big Ray's son, Aiden.
That's right.
It's his birthday.
Yeah, so we want to give a shout out and a big happy birthday to Aiden, son of my illustrious co-host for the Next Level Wrestling Review. Were you able to catch that episode or some of it, Colin? By the way,
no, I have not yet had a chance to listen.
Okay, it's terrible. Don't listen to it.
Oh, don't listen to it. It's because it had no Colin in it. That's why.
Yeah, they were asking for you too. Like they really, especially Society Reviews, wanted to see
you there, they watched the A show and they asked for more Colin. And Damian Sandow's on the show, so I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe I don't know what
because they know, right? They know. The people know. Going back to Connor, I wanted to bring this up because I have a tweet here. Okay, not the guy who predicted the broken leg tweet. This is a tweet from an important person. Okay, Ronda Rousey.
I didn't tweet anything to you.
No, another one.
Oh, another important person.
Perhaps as important or maybe less important, but Ronda Rousey.
She's way less important than
Ronda Rousey. So here's the tweet. I'm amazed that as soon as you hit the ground, you are already promoting the next fight at the Notorious MMA. I definitely wouldn't have had the mind to do that. The other fighters, UFC, and media are lucky to have you. Okay, she's right, but it wasn't for that I wanted to bring up. It's the responses that I wanted to bring up to this tweet. Okay. First response. I'm not going to put any of these guys' names over so that you could go follow their ignorant asses. But let's just hear. This is why. This is what separates the marks, okay, from the people that really know what they're talking about. And that's why you listen to Hameen Media Group and you watch our shows, because you got people who, for the most part, know what they're talking about. Yeah, sure, some of them still have a little markism that has to get ironed out, but we're working on that. Okay, so first up can
I interrupt you for a second? I have to put this out in the ether because people don't get to see the chat. I just have to let everyone know that Ray is trying to figure out how to @ people in the chat, and he is unsure of how to do it if there's spaces. Now he's saying it's not working. Society Reviews is trying to help him, but poor Big Ray is having a lot of issues adding someone in the chat. So if you can help Big Ray on Twitter, I think it's at Big Ray Show or at Big Ray Hernandez, at Big Ray's Dildo Emporium. Tweet at him, let him know how to @ someone in the YouTube chat. Thank you very much, guys, and continue, Vet. I hate to apologize. I'm sorry for that.
Oh, no problem. Okay. First reply. Yeah, real lucky to have someone that attacked an older guy at a bar, could have injured people on a bus, and carries himself like an overall child in every situation when he should be a better, more professional rep for the organization that gave him his livelihood.
The man's laying there in shock.
Okay.
Joe Rogan's got a microphone in his
face. Next reply. Was also busy shouting death threats and still insulting the guy's family. Not mentioning that. Here's another one. Another one. Losing is one thing, but he's not even close to entertaining anybody inside the octagon. He's out of title contention and will be stuck in the middle with RDA Nate and the rest of the placeholders.
Another one.
Next one. Yeah, you can play that after each one. Dude never wins. What's the fascination?
Another one.
We are lucky to have someone that threatens lives and badger people's wives. Not to mention the religion bashing and such of other opponents and punching random people at bars. The sport caters to WWE drama because of acts like this instead of the sport. We are so lucky.
Another one.
This one's not really in league with the other ones, so you don't have to hit another one after that, but I just thought it was funny.
Then you shouldn't have said it.
Connor, only KOs matter. Also Connor, guillotine. Okay, that was funny. I just
got to go for the guillotine. Look, the first time he had it in, it looked like he kind of had it, but
he did have it, but he lost it.
If you understand the art of them fighting, the leg fighting that was going on to try to establish position for Connor to either get him in half guard and or close guard to be able to finish that squeeze, that's really what was going on there. A lot of people are paying attention to Connor's arms around his neck, but you have to be paying attention to the lower halves of their body right there.
Yeah, and I think that Connor's trying to, if you've noticed in some of his past fights, not counting the last Dustin Poirier one, but if you notice, he's trying to round out his game a little bit more because I felt like he did a lot. It was surprising that Khabib was able to outpunch him. That's what surprised everybody. But I thought his wrestling defense was pretty good, like considering who he's up against and what he's known for, right? Like he did well, even though he did eventually lose to that neck crank thing. But I mean, it's better than we imagined that he would have done. And Dustin Poirier's like, his ground game is pretty good. So like, he wants to go there. He's showing like that he's trying to just not be the guy that kicks and punches.
Yeah, it was very, very odd for Connor to go for that guillotine. It's almost like I wonder if he felt his leg feeling weird or not even trying to balance to try to fight off, because he's like you said, he's got good takedown defense. He did it against Chad Mendez. Like there's been guys that he's fought against that he's held his own against those wrestlers.
To be honest, I think it was just he thought it was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. That's usually
like if it's there, you take it. Just kind of it because he got it on. So it's like, okay, let me try it. But I think that's more like instinctive,
That is true. Gam Wolfer's in the chat, who is probably over there. It is Sunday, so I'm sure if he was at TFR Live, if BRV went live over there at TFR Live, Wolfers then comes over here to hang out with us. Did you hear about Italy versus England in the UEFA European Cup Championship?
In the sense that Santino Marella tweeted a picture of his son slurping spaghetti.
You're not a footy kind of guy, huh?
Well, I took that to mean that Italy won, so why? Was there more to it than that?
No, it basically just went down to penalty kicks, and England just whiffed 3 penalty kicks there at the end to lose it on their own turf.
Well, English people are very unathletic. So back to the.
How dare you say that about Lord Steven Regal?
Couple more tweets. Awful take. That was a desperation outburst by a man who was mentally broken and couldn't control his anger. Nothing powerful about that. Just class. He says classes as usual. I think he meant classless. And pathetic. Can't believe you're commending that meltdown. The words he spoke only proved how unstable he is. And And then finally, I'll just throw this. There's hundreds actually
Another
of
one.
replies, but thank you. But this last one, it kind of leads into the point of all this. Getting real tired of guys like Conor and Bones Jones taking extended periods of time off, even retiring, then walking back into a prime fight. Dana has basically turned UFC into a joke in the name of the almighty dollar.
Ay, cabrón. Oh.
All right, now Colin, do you want to tell everybody what's wrong with these people, or should I?
You go on ahead and do it, Vet. I'll let you do it.
Well, that right there basically sums it up. Dana has basically turned UFC into a joke in favor of in the name of the almighty dollar. Okay?
Now, what he's supposed to do? Isn't it a business?
Isn't it a business? Oh, I'm sorry. Where are the dollars coming from?
From guys
You
like,
all.
yeah, from the ones that are paying for it.
Yes. All those people that are chanting for Conor in the arena, even though, what was this? What did this guy says? He's not even close to entertaining anybody inside the octagon. Who cares? You bought the ticket. If you thought he was a shitty fighter and you bought the ticket anyway, maybe you bought a ticket to see him maybe you bought a ticket to see him, to see what happened to him because you hate him. Okay? Guys like Floyd Mayweather, and in a previous generation, Muhammad Ali, and a previous generation, guys like Joe Louis or Jack Johnson, tons of white people bought tickets to see them lose. Same thing with Conor McGregor. There's just as many people that want to see the guy that finally beats up Conor McGregor, or in this case, beats him up for the 5th or 6th time or whatever, and shuts him up. And guys like that. Like, that accounts for a huge portion of the fan base. Guys like Conor know that, and he says the things to keep people hating him and keep buying tickets to see him get knocked out. You think Conor cares about the money generated, whether it was by people that like him or don't like him? Do you think any of the millions of dollars that he made?
Watch.
Do you think he separated those millions of dollars into two piles and was like, okay, well, these guys hated me, so I'll donate this money to charity or whatever? No, bro, it's money. And let's talk about the integrity of the UFC for a second. This is the sport that was like, if you go back and watch UFC 1, listen to how the commentators were talking about it. Look at the disparity. Like,
well, the ownership was different too back then.
I'm just saying, obviously he's going back, he's thinking of the glory days of the UFC, right? Well, let's look at how it came out. It was basically a freaking freak show. It was a circus act. You had like sumo wrestlers in there against like karate guys, and you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, there's some sort of integrity we have to uphold now. The bottom line is money everywhere, literally. The bottom line is money. So guys like Conor are making that money even when he's sitting there with the people, strapping a cast to his leg and trying to haul him out of there, and he's sitting on the floor cutting a promo. And what is cutting a promo? What is promo short for? Promotional interview. And what is he doing? He's trying to make people already anticipate another fight. And what did Dana White say, Colin? In a press conference or whatever after this.
I actually missed the post-fight press conference.
He said, as soon as Conor's ready, we're going to do Dustin Conor 4.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the money's at. And people are going to gobble it up and watch it again because they want to see the end of this. I mean, it was like the Anderson Silva thing. The minute Chris Weidman beat Anderson Silva, what was the next thing that they do? No, that was a fluke. We got to put him back in there again. They're going to keep running it back until there's a decisive winner this time. And shame on Joe Rogan. He won't put a microphone in someone's face when they get knocked out. But after you break your ankle and you're lying there in shock, I'm going to sit down with you and we're going to have an Oprah face-to-face here here on the Octagon mat.
Well, if it's Conor McGregor, you do.
That is true. Apparently, where?
Maybe he was saying Jesus because of that Ay Cabron clip from earlier.
Ay, cabrón.
So society with the stats here. 16.7 million at the live gate. That shouldn't even be mathematically possible, right? With an estimated 1.2 to 1.7 million pay-per-view buys.
I know what I paid for tickets when I went, and it was $800 for us to go.
Yeah.
and those were really good seats.
$800 for really good seats, right?
Yeah,
And how many people were
and
in
they're
there?
not even. They weren't even.
20,000?
They weren't even on the floor. But I could have been on the pay-per-view all night, and you would have seen me like had we ran down to the guardrail. Whenever the fighters come out, I was literally right where the fighters came out, and you would have seen me like every time they walked a fighter out. You would have seen me like right there on TV.
Who was main
Really,
eventing that show?
Rashad Evans versus John Jones, UFC 145, Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. So let's say, and how many seats would you think that Las Vegas arena hold? 20?
Oh God, I don't know. 20K tickets is what he's saying. By the way, that 16.7 million is on 20K tickets.
Well, they couldn't have all cost 20,000. There had to have been some different
Right here.
prices,
Dana
right?
said it was their highest sale day they ever had. No, they broke records with this. This one broke. This one broke records, and it we got this. We got the main event that we got.
Yeah. So but that's what happens, right? So I mean, but the point is, you know, Ronda is 100% right. This guy's already promoting the
It's
next
not
fight.
real.
He's yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, that's even less of an excuse for pro wrestling because they can make it whatever they
Can
want.
make it look like it. Yeah, I mean, they
So-
could have totally made that cage fight in AEW look a lot better than what they really made it look like.
Oh God, let's not talk about that. So, but anyway, yeah, I just wanted to bring up that point. I just wanted to bring up that point about how these quote unquote fans, like what they really think. Obviously, if the health of the UFC was determined by a few people on Twitter and their supposed hearkening back to the integrity of UFC, then they would have been bankrupt a long time ago.
It's the same thing that we get from all the WWE people and the people that hate AEW, like
That's
Big
why-
Ray. They just constantly
why-
go at it.
That's why I'm bringing it up because it's relevant. It's relevant to our discussions here about what we talk about. Like,
Well, you want to know something that's relevant to MMA and to wrestling as we transition again here?
Okay.
Bailey's torn ACL. Have you heard much about that? Have you read much into that? Have you seen much about old as Ray liked to say, one of the best butts in the business, tearing her ACL in the performance center? Not even like performing for everyone. They were doing extra training, I believe, to get ready for these road shows they got coming up. And now you lose probably your strongest woman and best heel on the SmackDown roster.
yeah, it's extremely unfortunate. So I've seen it. She cut a promo on a brief promo on. You know, it's kind of funny because SmackDown came out on Friday, and Bailey sent in a short video to SmackDown, laying on the couch with a brace on her leg, cutting a promo about how everybody's going to be disappointed that she's not there. Which looks eerily similar to what would happen the next night in the main event of UFC, right? Some guy laying on the ground cutting a promo. You know, it's almost like
Art
some of these
imitating
principles of selling tickets to things are universal. But yeah, that really sucks. Bailey's done nothing but, you know, take on so much responsibility and load for that place since she's been there. She hasn't been appreciated all the time that she's been there.
Apparently, she was willing to shave her head too. Like, there are rumors about that she was willing to do a hair versus hair match and go completely bald to like get some stuff over, like with Bianca Belair.
Yeah, it's so it's very sad when this happens. But you know, I would like to see more of when this happens, because a lot of times people will get hurt and then they disappear. She's supposed to be out a minimum 9 months, is what they said. People are already making pregnancy jokes.
That's what I thought the WWE creative team or whoever does their Twitter was being like ha ha ha, you know, she's out with an injury, she'll be back in 9 months. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, like that's actually kind of smart if she is pregnant like that. Like, she got injured. That's like a way to play it up. Kayfabe, you know, we're doing kayfabe over here. But then I listened to another show and they were talking about her torn ACL, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, so it could be less, it could be more. I'm about to bring up this quote here from Society in a second, but yeah, I just wanted to once again really put over Bailey and I'll finish my thought. So when people get hurt like this for an extended period of time, they just disappear and come back one day. But I would like somebody like a Bailey, especially with her character, to continually pop in and annoy people to keep her fresh in everybody's mind while she's recovering. Because that's the stuff you
Susan.
can. Yeah, that's the stuff you can definitely do, where you can send a video in or something. And
She's like the new Vicky Guerrero. Excuse me, but she goes ding
Yep.
dong.
Yep. And Michael
Hello?
Cole has to like put it over, like, cause she, you know how she always buries him, right? So like every time he has to throw to it, he'll be like, I'm being told that we, you know, like, and really just sound like he doesn't want to do it. Yeah, we have a new video from Bailey. Let's hear, you know, and then she says whatever, and then he's just, you know, that kind of stuff would be that. But they usually never do that. It's almost like the person doesn't exist, and then they just come back at some big event, like, surprise, look who's back. But it's like,
Tegan Knox is back.
yeah, okay, so that's what I'm getting to. Because guess what?
I
Society
like how we're
says
transitioning here. We're talking about people just surprise comebacks.
Very
and
smooth.
right into Tegan Knox. Look at this.
very smooth. This is the SmackDown Women's Division, Society Review says. Without Bailey, Liv Morgan, Carmella, Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega.
And they just brought her back.
Natalia, Tamina, and Bianca. Okay, not a terrible women's division. Certainly better than the Impact division. But guess what? Not just them, but two more. Because guess who made their debut on SmackDown?
Shotzi Knox.
Shotzi Knox. They're both getting the single name treatment. It's Shotzi and Knox now.
Shotzi Knox.
What kind of a name is that? And Michael Cole still called her Tegan Knox at least once. So that's fine. But I don't know if they're going to go with that. I think they definitely should, because it just, Knox is not a name for.
She's got. Well, when I think of Knox, I think of the Nasty Boys.
Knox and Sags. So yeah, so we got Shotzi now. She drove her tank out. If you can imagine a toned down version of her, then that's what we got here.
Hey, at least they gave her entrance instead of as Billy Body's talking about on the Nitty Gritty Dirt Show, them punishing Karrion Kross by having him come out on main event with no entrance whatsoever.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Of course, that if you had that entrance on main event, that would look even weirder than him not having it. To be honest, it's like, what? No one? What main event? What?
There's no one here. Why is she singing? there's smoke.
Right.
No one gets entrances like this.
Yeah. So I mean, so we got this. So we got this call up now.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and why would that be? Because
she just came out as bi, and they need to diversify on SmackDown. Because Sonya Deville's on Raw, so now they have Toni Storm on SmackDown. So now they hit all the bases.
Yeah. So with the idea of Vince McMahon supposedly going down to the PC and looking at people, did he pick out some of these people, and that's why he, you know, it's hard not to go down there, look at all these people, and then see Shotzi and not have her stand out, regardless, right? But sadly I noticed that like her gear, like she and Tegan had matching gear, and I noticed that Shotzi's gear shows significantly less butt than usual, because you know how she has the sides cut up a little bit, so you can. You know, she kind of has the cheeks hanging out. Well, now they're like fully covered again. Boring. And for Tegan, I'll say, you know, she was getting kind of chunky at certain points there. I don't know if that contributed to any of her knee problems, but
she's got the bionic redneck knee combo now with both.
Yeah, so she was wearing two, but she's really slimmed down and gotten in shape. So good for her. Yeah. So that's pretty much all the preamble I've got here, unless there's anything else that we should bring up before we.
No, I don't really have anything else. You are you ready? Are you ready to moose this place up?
I can never get enough moose, and sadly, that's exactly what I was thinking as I was watching this last episode of Impact.
Well, we're headed over to cage side seats for my notes this evening, and Vet, I think I've got a writer that you're gonna love. We're going with Manolo has pizzazz There is pizza in his name.
Mm.
And we have Impact recap and reactions. Moose destroyed a casino. With a headline like that, he's definitely over with the vet right from the start. We don't even have to read his review to know that he is no what was that jabroni's name again?
Beeston something?
Eric Beeston.
Something Beeston.
Eric, yeah. The Moose World Order is here to stay, ladies and gentlemen. Moose World Order.
Moose World Order.
All right.
Well, let's go. We
got Sami Callihan getting arrested.
Well, they started with that?
Well, I think he just jumped straight into it.
Oh, God damn it. Look, if we can't find one person that actually watches Impact.
Honestly, he kind of blows through it, and I think you wrote this, Vet, because like you told me, you were like, hey, just watch Swingers Palace, and that's about it. Literally, this is his readout. Sami Callihan being arrested, the surprise returns of Matt Cardona, as well as W. Morrissey sending a message with violence. One humorous scene worth bringing attention to involved Moose destroying Swingers Palace Casino. And then he goes into breaking down the Swingers Palace Casino part. He skips all the worst.
It's like halfway through the show.
I believe that's you writing for Cage Side Seats. So we'll start at the top of the show, even though Manolo does not start at the top of the show. He has pizzazz, ladies and gentlemen. I guess he gets carte blanche over at Cage Side Seats to write his reviews however he wants. Vet, start us off.
Okay, well, we're gonna get Coach Omega and Don Callis arriving at the building.
Yes. Such good shit.
They're doing their little banter. We need We Own the Night. We're getting called for it. We got to play it, especially since I'm talking. Yeah, we got to have this. It wouldn't be a promo if we don't have this song playing under it, right? So the show's gonna open up, right? With Brian Myers with Soda Thompson at his side, versus Jake something in. Are you ready for this, Colin? And I'll call you a professional match.
Oh my gosh, I got excited when I first saw this. I was like, all right, maybe we're gonna get to see some fun stuff here from Brian Myers and Sam Beal, but
who?
Oh, sorry. Soda Thompson. I apologize.
It sounded like you said somebody else like came out with Brian Myers. I was like, did he come out with two guys? Because I already mentioned Soda.
I'm never gonna make it to the. It didn't work that time. I tried to play the main roster clip there, but it totally failed.
Okay, that's all right. Well, you can turn off the music now, and maybe that'll allow you to. Yeah. So, D'Lo Brown has never heard of this particular stipulation. And there's probably a reason why he's never heard of it in all the years that he's been wrestling, because it's fucking stupid. What kind of a stakes is it for a fan if Brian Myers admits that somebody's a professional? Let me tell you guys something. The only thing that makes you a professional is that you got paid to do whatever it was. It doesn't matter how bad you are at it.
I want y'all all to fight each other in the chat on who's the most professional YouTube chatter here on the show tonight.
Well, they're all tied for amateur, because I don't know if anybody's ever been paid for these comments. Except maybe Society Reviews might have been paid by you to put you over so hard. But I can't confirm that, so I'm going to have to just take your word for it.
Society Reviews understands. He knows Tony Cakes. # Tony Cakes. Shouts out to BG there.
There we go. So, yeah. As Wolfer said, it's a very corny idea. Like, what are we supposed to do with that? And guess what? Is it any mystery that after Jake something wins this match, that Brian Myers absolutely refused to call him a professional? Like, did we expect some other outcome?
We should have known that. He's the heel. Of course the heel's gonna, hey, we're gonna have this match, and I'm gonna admit to you that I'm gonna tell you you're the greatest podcaster ever, Vet. You're just once you beat me, I'm gonna tell you that. And then no, I gotta generate heat. I'm not gonna tell you that shit.
Right.
I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna try to hold off as long as I can.
But the whole thing is kind of like,
while you cut promos being like, just tell me I'm the greatest, Colin.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm the greatest.
Exactly. The whole thing is, no one really respects Brian Myers. So even if he were to just say it, like, would that mean anything to you? Like, in no way that you could try to slice this would it make any sense or be satisfying in any way, right? No matter how you do it. So this is just one of those things, right? And so anyway, so of course, like Soda and Soda,
Well, there kind of is Wolfers. It's kind of like the Velveteen Dream "Say My Name" thing. He wants him to admit that he's a professional. So at the end of the day, when they get done with this feud, he's gonna admit that Jake something's a professional.
but he didn't even really want to. Like, I think if I remember, it was just Myers just offering it out there. Like, look, if you beat me, then I don't remember Jake something saying he needed to be called a professional and that his career hinged on it. Maybe I'm just misremembering, but either way, that's dumb too. So after Soda and Myers predictably turn on Brian instead of admitting it and start beating him down, Cardona comes back with the save. And I was wondering, I thought I'd save this and ask you, do you think this counts like a save? Does a save count as an interruption? Because we're counting interruptions here.
Well, he is interrupting the beatdown.
So you want to count it?
Yeah, you can count that. That's well, actually, let's throw it to the chat. Chat. Should we count the Matt Cardona run-in as an interruption, like much of the promos and scenes that we have here on Impact usually happen?
Because let's get technical and detailed, because obviously it's so important with things like and I'll call you a professional match as a stipulation. Like, so well, let's sink down to their level and really get granular on this.
We got some chin locks later.
Because think about it, like an interruption, right? It would be for something that was scheduled. So if somebody said they had carved out interview time and then someone walks in their interview, that's interrupting it. But if this beatdown was unscheduled, if they were both supposed to just go back to the locker room after the match and someone else comes out, is that really an interruption? Or is it just kind of like throwing an extra ingredient in the pot? I don't know.
Side review says
reviews.
he'll allow it. Wolfers is
Interruption.
woo woo woo. So I'm assuming that's Matt Cardona for yes. He'll allow it.
Okay.
So I think that's two out of the 5 people watching right now. Two out of 5 ain't bad.
Yeah. Well, it kind of is if you if we're grading on like school. But okay. So next is a Deonna Purrazzo interview. Over music, of course.
Oh, hang on. I got you. It might not be here.
Oh, Wolfer says no interruption, so that cancels out. Now we're back to 0.
Deonna Purrazzo can continue.
Oh yes. Sorry.
Don't get distracted.
So it's hard. It's hard not to get distracted by its greatest theme song ever. No interruption in this interview, which is not, of course. Next, you can turn off the music now because they don't have music over here. Gia finds Sammy in a good mood.
Oh, he's sitting on that old rack. He's having fun. He's just hanging out. Gia has to come and interrupt Sammy while he's totally. All right, so now we have 2. So Wolfer's changed his vote. I was wrong about the woo 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 thing.
And now we got another non-interruption.
Non-interruption. So 2 for non-interruption, 1 for interruption.
This will go on throughout the length of the episode, and we'll only be able to tally up at the end and determine how many interruptions we have.
But Vet, we get an interruption here as a sheriff comes in.
Exactly. That's if you could see my notes here, it's interrupted number 1 in parentheses by Deputy Johnson. I wonder if that's his real name.
Johnson.
Deputy Johnson, right
See,
here.
they don't have a performance center, so all those security people that showed up, they're not like talent, are they? They're probably like guys that they just found off the street.
Yes. The streets of the indies around that area.
Whatever that area is.
Yeah.
Some of those guys didn't look like indie workers.
And they were standing just off camera because they immediately rushed in the second Sammy showed up any resistance. So that was pretty good.
Yes, of course. So Sheriff Johnson needs a little bit of extra backup, and he definitely,
Guards! More guards!
as the security comes rushing in and they slam Sammy up against the fence or the cage or the rolling door or whatever it is, and they proceed to. Sheriff Johnson's like, "I got it, guys. I got it. You can let go of him. I've got it from here." They whisk Sammy away. Poor
Right.
Sammy. Apparently he's being charged with assault of Don Callis. And I can't remember if this is when we get the video.
We may get a video, but it's not the full video.
Full video. We just get a video that kind of incriminates Sammy Callahan as if he did punch Don Callis in the face. So we're left wondering, oh my gosh, Sammy really did it.
Yeah,
you going to jail now.
Yeah, the interview with Don Callis of the thing is much later.
Yes.
Here's Deanna for an open challenge. Her theme was getting stuck in my head lately for some reason. I don't know why, but
I'll put it on the roads. I got you.
I do have a theory that I've always believed, which is if a song gets stuck in your head, that means you like it. It doesn't matter if you think you don't like it, you actually do. That's my theory. So her opponent here is Lady Frost. Now, we've seen Lady Frost a couple different places. AEW, recently, NWA. She was on the last episode of NWA. So she's kind of getting around and working places. A little too gimmick. It's okay if you want to name yourself Lady Frost and have like a little get up that, sort of goes along with that. However, when they're announcing your city and they're start doing like from someplace cold, like, all right, you know what? That's just a little too cute for me. I don't think we really need that.
What Undertaker and Death Valley is not good enough for you?
Well, Death Valley is a place. So even though it's a pun, it's still a real place.
Not a place for the Undertaker. He's not really from Death Valley.
Someplace cold. What place? Name a place.
Antarctica.
Say you're from Anchorage, Alaska. I don't
Antarctica.
care. Yeah. Say you're from Antarctica. It doesn't matter.
Parts unknown. Can she stay? Parts unknown.
I'm from March of the Penguins.
Show is still going on, Big Ray, if you know how to @ things in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't think you learned how to do that.
You might not have. It's okay.
Too much gimmick, not enough character. I have to agree with that.
Right. Yeah, it's like that's basically what I'm saying. Like, and it's kind of all starts with that. I mean, she looks decent. She's in shape. She's got an interesting look. She's a little inexperienced, I'll say. But there's room to work there. I'll give you an example of where she needs a little bit of work. There's a spot where Deanna like ducks something and clubs her in the back of the neck. As a shoot, she hits her in the upper back, where it's safe. But the idea is that she, hits her in the back of the neck, right? And and Frost goes to the corner selling her lower back, like she just grabs her lower back, like she's Matt Jackson or something. So like sell where you got hit is basically it. And it's a little lesson. It seems like obviously. Yeah. Well.
Parts unknown.
Yeah.
Parts unknown.
Parts unknown, but cold.
But cold parts unknown.
Yeah, wherever it is, it's cold there. Anyway, so Deanna wins this, and she starts doing a promo, which is interrupted, number 2. By Gail Kim, a surprise Gail Kim appearance.
Just bringing all the legends out for this episode of Impact.
Yeah, Lady Frost, Gail Kim.
And we got Jazz later. So Gail's interrupted, number 3, by going to break. So she's interrupted by a break. Now she comes back to basically say, long story short, at Slammiversary, Deanna's going to have a mystery opponent. Okay. So here's why this is... first of all, what did you think of this? I mean, like, just the idea of... I'm announcing now that you have a mystery opponent. Then, do you like that? Yeah. I think it kind of gets it out there as the viewer to be like, ooh, who's it gonna be? Like, and then of course in the IWC, everybody's gonna pay attention to who the WWE just released. Who's coming back, who's going, who there could be all kinds of little parts being moved around and things like that. Like I could see it, it working out that way for the best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know who they could have because like Zelina Vega just got re-signed. So what women are you teasing? Maybe Mickie James. They had her as the flashback. They're bringing legends back.
Sure.
She's kind of doing something over there with the NWA. Buckshot Kid with the Awesome Kong. That could be another one. You know, it's there's a lot of speculation that could go on, and that's what Impact needs. Impact needs something to drum up business and get people to want to come over and watch it. And for fans of women's wrestling and people that might like Deonna Purrazzo and stuff like that, if you can get people speculating, there you might get some people to actually tune in and watch just to hope and see that they see their favorite wrestler.
Well,
I think it pays off for AEW when they started having a bunch of the indie guys come on, because I remember when like Warhorse was like one of the guys that came on. A lot of the people were pumped that like he was getting his shot, like to wrestle on Dynamite when Cody was doing that open challenge kind of thing, and people tuned in to see their certain specific favorite indie star go and wrestle Cody.
Yes. The only difference here is that we don't know who it is, so you don't know if it's going to be your favorite. But here's
That's why you got to watch.
Yeah, right. Here's why else it's
find it.
If you can find it. Here's why else it's good. On a couple of other different ways too. Number one, Deonna's already cleaned out the whole division basically. So already you're already going to need to bring in somebody outside to have like a fresh thing. And two, because of that, that's been a long time of anticipation of a heel champion where, you know, you're now, what were we just talking about with the guys like the Connors and the Floyds and stuff, where you want to see them get humbled. And so now you've built this up, and now a mystery opponent works. Whereas I feel like the WWE just throws out a mystery opponent randomly sometimes just to do it, and it's not based on anything they've been doing. So even if they obviously didn't plan so far ahead to have a mystery opponent, now's a good time to do it with a person that's had like a long run, and you're kind of getting tired of them in a certain way.
That makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, and then as you mentioned, the flashback shows Mickey versus Angelina Love with
hey, look
Winter.
at that! Look, I was gonna put that over. We've got our very own Hameen Media Group's brand, Russo's brand, Beautiful People podcast.
Beautiful podcast.
Angelina Love wrestling Mickey James. I was very surprised to see that, and there was a botched finish, but
Who cares?
Who cares? We got to see some throwbacks of two women that are still out there doing it at a very high level.
Yep. And you also got a little look at Winter, a.k.a.
Winter.
Katie Lee Burchill, you may remember from her WWE run. Funny little story I have about her. So we use some of the things that we used to do in training every once in a while just for fun. Rip would just do a Royal Rumble or like a Battle Royal or whatever, just so that you would get the practice of, you know, being in one of those type of matches. And she was in there with us this one time, and I had no idea, like, obviously she was really nobody then. So I didn't really know, but I was kind of one of those people that would just be like, it kind of fell upon me to, in this thing where we just have a spontaneous battle royal and nothing is talked about and everything, like I'm the one that's kind of going around. I'm one of like maybe 3 or 4 people, some probably like a Ted McNailer, probably like a Adam Revolver, probably like a Aaron LaMotta or whatever, and probably me. Well, it was me in this case. Just go around and every once in a while throw somebody out, like, ready to go out? Okay, here you go, you know, and that kind of thing. So I remember like going over to her and be like, ready to go? Here you go. And I just like throw her over the ropes, but she like didn't go. So like she just didn't get eliminated. So I was like, okay, whatever. So then, you know, eventually I just went
Make your way
along
back around, and you're like, all right, this time it's time to go.
No, I was like, nah, she didn't want to go. Fine. So I got eliminated long before then. She ended up winning the whole thing.
She was
Katie
like,
Lee's over. Katie Lee's super over. She won the battle royal.
She was like, what you don't know, Vet, is that he came to me and said, I'm going over in the battle royal. So when you come to throw me out, nope. I'm crawling back in.
I mean, a little communication there would have been appreciated.
That's funny. Oh my goodness. You gotta love battle royals. They're just trying to get you in there.
Yeah, man. And that's a lot of people, that's all they were gonna get, because they were pretty FR. So
that's fucking rotten for all you people out there. Make sure you go to Hameen Media Group's Patreon to get your weekly
FR
dose of the
podcast.
FR podcast with Ted McNailer and Rip Rogers.
yes, both of who are just the stars of my story.
And sometimes Von Lilas.
Sometimes Von Lilas. Also I got a few
Stars of your stories.
Yes, I like Von Miles. He's cool, man. I got to do a FR podcast one of these times. I'll weasel my way in there at some point. I'm on everybody else's damn show. So Swingers Palace.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the reason we're here, right?
I was wondering. So when as I was fast skimming to watch this show, because in full transparency, I got off work and fast skimmed watched this show.
In full transparency, the show's lame and no one has time
And
for it.
Vet told me just to watch the Swingers Palace segment, but I just kind of picked and choose what I like depending on how I was fast forwarding. And I got to the part where when I fast forwarded, I was hitting the 15-second skip, and it stopped on where the swinger girls were all talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, what the hell is going on here? So and then I heard the music, and I was like, oh crap, that's Swingers Palace. Like, I got to go back. So we start with Hernandez just hanging out, and the Swingers Palace girls just having a little chit chat about how long they stand there and how much they work.
Now, I wrote this out as a specific note because I wanted to make a point here, okay? Besides the real reason why this segment's important, I did have a question that I wanted to ask you and everybody. Okay, so the chick that says she works 108 hours a week, right? That's talking to Alicia. You know which chick I'm talking about?
Yes, the one with all the makeup that looks like Mimi from Drew Carey show.
Yes. So my question is, what's the difference between her and Kimber Lee?
Oh God, I can definitely tell you there's a difference. She's way more homely looking than Kimberly. Way more homely looking.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
They damn near look like sisters.
I can see
Unless you're thinking of a different one, but I'm pretty sure you're thinking of
it's the one with
I'm
the
thinking.
tattoos and everything with
Yeah,
the
she's got
terrible eye
those-
makeup and stuff.
Yeah,
She
she's
looks
got
like
those
she
little-
does not belong beside Alicia and the other girls that are standing there.
Right. She, like I said, that's what
She's the mystery opponent.
If Kimber Lee put that dress on, that black dress, that's exactly what she looked like.
Oh yeah.
All right. So continue on with your recap.
So Chris Shaban shows up and Hernandez is like, "Yo, we're closed," and he kind of makes a comment about still wanting to make a bet and playing some games, and he flops some money down on the table, and as he's about to sit down, he gets an interruption. Was this interruption number 3?
I didn't write it down because, again, I didn't know if this was like a scheduled thing.
Because I think he was about to have a soliloquy of like we were going to get this kind of like Chris Sabin just sitting there in the casino promo by himself kind of monologue. And then Moose is like, yeah, not having that. And I'm going to hit you with some poker chips. I'm going to slam your face on this table. Yeah. I'm going to just beat up you and Hernandez.
I'm going with no interruption here. I'm just going with
let's go
natural
to
course of action.
We've got 7. Our pool of pollsters is a little bit larger here. Was Moose interrupting Chris Sabin? Oh, sorry. Was Moose attacking Chris Sabin? An interruption.
He definitely
on
attacked
Swingers Palace.
So a couple comments we already have. Kimberly looks like a sweet dive bar hookup at 1 a.m. Yeah, but how many drinks in though? Like, what time did you get there?
How many shots of Jaeger? Because it's a bad night once you started doing the Jaeger.
Did you get to the bar at 6 p.m.? Then
we talked about this plenty of times on the show.
Yes, Kimber wears ring gear that doesn't suit her character. She's like her outfit on
She's
this.
Like Pixie Fairy.
It's exactly what Alexa Bliss wore when she first got to NXT. Glitter, glitz, glamour, bliss. That's the same exact little outfit. It may even be literally the same outfit. It could be a hand-me-down from Alexa, because that's what it looks like when she tries to sweet. All right, no, never mind. I'm not here to shame people, even though I kind of am. But I just said that.
Have said it.
True. I just said here in my notes that I hate that Moose.
Hey, Bob.
I hate that Moose set foot in this place. But if he had to, this was the best possible outcome. Just beat up a guy real quick and get out without letting the stink of Swingers Palace get on you.
Well, we kind of find out why Swingers Palace is closed a little bit later, too.
Yes, a little bit later. But anything else to say about this one and only Moose sighting?
Only Moose sighting. We got Moose coming in. I feel sorry for poor Chris Sabin. He's gonna get a very volatile Moose when they meet at Slammiversary, and for poor old Chris Sabin.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that he's going to get plenty of his shit in this match. Don't you worry.
He shouldn't. He should not know, Moose. Tell him no. It's okay to say no. Moose. Look, I'm gonna pause
Moose
the
is a
show
nice
for a
guy.
second. Look, Vet, me and Ray used to do this all the time. What we can
Okay.
do is we're gonna pause the show and we're gonna speak directly to Moose. So I'm gonna hit pause on the mic. Nobody can see or hear us and everything. We're okay. So the show's paused. So Moose, Vet, please tell this man. Just don't let Chris Sabin just do whatever he wants. What should he do in this match?
As a shoot, I think Moose should basically take most of the match and maybe get a little flurry or something at the end and then still go over strong. Because I just don't want it. Like, I don't want to see. There's no point in Chris Sabin having a competitive match. There's really not. However, the way they're booking Moose, they're not like it's clear that they don't have any too much respect for him as that the guy, the top guy either. They just refuse to make the decision, pull the trigger, whatever. So they're probably just gonna let them work out some regular match. But yes, I would my direct comments to Moose are take the whole thing and make it make sense. You can still get Chris Sabin over with sympathy, and you can tell a story. If Chris Sabin has the right amount of ego, he should go along with it.
So only Moose heard that. Let me start the show back up. Hang on. All right, and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Impact Moose. I am Thin Crust Moose with Pineapple here with the Ad Opinion Haver, and we were discussing Kimberly, and then the show went off the air for some reason, and now we're back. I think we were talking Swingers Palace and
something. We were just about to get into the Chris Bay interview.
Yes.
Over music.
Hey, leave. Hang on. Let me.
Whoa, that was fast. The man works fast. So he explains his. Okay, so K-Bob has a question. I don't know where he's coming up with this. This is completely random. I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say that. Oh yes, okay. Good. I'm glad he clarified that because I wasn't sure what he was talking about since. We briefly lost a connection here somewhere, and yeah. So, shouldn't he get some good offense? Yeah. Good for the story. Good for the story. If the story is that Moose should run over this guy, and the offense is good if it serves the story that they're telling in the match. The idea of a guy that's the size of probably one of Moose's kids, if he had any, having like a competitive back and forth type of match, it's just, this is just how wrestling is now. People just think they have to work 50-50 with everybody because unless it's like, a Burt Macklin match or something where they're specifically saying, yeah, this guy's not going to get shit. I'm not saying you could do that to Chris Sabin, but it really depends on where they're going. And that's what we don't know. Like as analysts, as fans, we don't know what the long-term plans are for Sabin or Moose. So it's hard for us to say what should definitely be done. But if I'm just saying, if you got this match on paper and you're just handing me the pencil all of a sudden at Slammiversary and asking me what I want from this match, I'm saying I want Moose over in 5-6 tops. Not counting entrances and exits.
Vet
should be like
sounds so much better over Deanna Perez's theme music.
Yeah. I mean, Moose can sell it, but he shouldn't be bumping. There's a difference, right? Buckshot. It's like you can sell something without like having to, to bump for a guy a certain way. We'll see what they do. And I'll be very closely watching this match at Slammiversary and taking detailed notes specifically for this reason, because I want to break certain things down and give you guys like a glimpse into what the mind of a wrestler, what goes on and what they're looking at when they see it. It's different. Like it's the difference between when you look at the Matrix and see a bunch of green numbers and Neo looks at the Matrix and sees figures and shapes and things, right? So back to Chris Bay. The music's over now, but he explains how he was picking a side, like what that meant, and he's really just saying he's picking his side, like he just didn't want to get jumped by all the other dudes on the Rohace Aju, I think is the name.
Rohace Aju, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to get overwhelmed by them, so he just, kind of half-ass picked a side. So he tried to make it make sense, and I'll give him credit for that, but I still, the thing is still, it's an Ultimate X match. There are no teams, right? So
no teams. Every man for
and he wasn't
himself.
interrupted here. No interruption. Just
No interruptions.
He got to actually finish a promo with Gia. Like he actually had an interview with Gia, and no one walked in, no one interrupted. So that's nice. It shows that they're listening and they're getting tired of me calling out all their interruptions, right?
Well, you know who else is listening?
Who's that?
Morrissey.
Yes.
And we're listening to the promo that he cuts in the ring before he beats up 3 jobbers.
The
with
3
a
guys that
chokeslam,
have gotten or will be beaten by Macklin in the future.
A power bomb, in which he almost dropped the guy, and then an F5 to which he triple stack pinned the guys, and of course the Impact commentary puts over a T-shirt that was already put out by Roman Reigns in the WWE. It's about stacking them high and everything. So
yes, he plays stack up with these guys. No robotic operating buddy required here.
And we've got Callis airing footage of Callahan's heinous assault. And Scott D'Amore requests that Callis and Omega still attend the contract signing. That's sneaky Don Callis trying to get out of the contract signing. Why? Well, if there's only one part there, why does there have to be a contract signing? He's in jail. There can't be one. Nope. We're going to get you out to the ring to go ahead and sign that contract just in case.
Yeah, and D'Amore counts as interruption number 4 here.
And we've got Rosemary.
I thought this footage here, I wrote down like Callis shows footage of Carl Anderson punching him dressed as Sammy.
Yeah, I thought it was Carl Anderson as well. Yeah, my first look, I was like, those tattoos look too fresh. We're back out in the ring as Rosemary and Havoc defeat Kimberly and Susan,
the moms.
And we've got Jazz going backstage as the host with her special guest, Tennille and Caleb with a K. Tennille's basically going off on Jazz, and Jazz is done with it. Jazz has had enough. She's about to stand up and strike old Tennille, and Caleb K gets up and stops her, and she kind of pushes Caleb out of the way like he's nothing, and she turns around, and Tennille attacks her from behind. Special note, Jazz with the Shad Gaspar shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
And your thoughts here as we get Jazz getting attacked by Tennille. Looks like they're setting up Tennille versus Jazz. Maybe it's Slammiversary, maybe it's some other thing down the road.
Yeah, maybe something. First and foremost, I then want to comment on the most important aspect of all this, which is that you can actually pre-order the Slammiversary DVD now. You don't have to wait for it to air. You can already just tell them, hey, whatever happens 9 days from tonight, then...
Oh, they made sure to put that over very hardcore. They were making fun of Tony Khan with the 9 days from tonight on the Impact.
Yeah, but you can have that. You can have that DVD just on its way to you, ready to ship as soon as it's pressed. So.
9 days from tonight.
Just wanted to get that. My favorite part of this All About Me little bit here was how Jordan Grace comes in and shoves the medical professionals aside so that she and Rachel can kneel down next to Jazz, and basically just kneel there.
You should see this picture that they have of the two of them. I have to share my screen right now for you guys to see this. This is quite hilarious.
A question.
Look at this duck face that Jordan Grace has going on right now. This face right here.
It's that Vern Troyer, you know.
And then of course this Rachel Ellering here, looking beast with her biceps and everything, like looking way beast.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize.
That's all right. Sometimes you need a little reality check.
All right, can we move on to Rich Swann and Willie Mack, TJP and Falaba, the Good Brothers?
Yeah, in a second. So the question is, can Tennille be this basic after 11 years? I already mentioned like a few times, like I don't know what's wrong with her. She seems like something's off. Some days are good, some days are bad. I'll chalk it up to the, whatever their taping schedule is. That she might seem sluggish or whatever. I don't really know what this creative is, but I mean, it's okay. It's not the worst. I don't know. I feel like they could do a little bit more. This particular segment here was very uninspired with Jazz and everything. Like, they just very,
I mean, how dare Jazz attack the guest of her show like that? That's just rude.
I know. This
Kind
is
of a host would attack their guests. It's very unbecoming of Jazz.
Yeah, unprofessional. So,
team to Neil Dashwood over here.
So Swamak, which
now,
we decided was a decent name.
Yeah, Swamak, yeah. But why now are we focusing on the tag team division with this multi-man gobbledygook just like we have with the X division? It's like they can't build storylines with these tag teams, so they just have to throw whatever at the wall to make it stick. And they just multi-man matches, and then Tommy Dreamer comes out and does his best Teddy Long impression, and we get a four-way between all these guys. Well, half of the 50% of the men out there are in a four-way, and Carl Anderson and the Good Brothers go over.
Yeah, and you be sure to pre-order this four-way right now on
DVD.
on
this DVD form on
yes, not Blu-ray.
Wrestling.
What do you think they're made of money? Yeah. So yeah, you're right. I mean, this is not doing anything for me personally, but it's just a way to like shoehorn all these guys into the show.
We gotta get them on Slammiversary somehow, right? It's just like a battle royal. We've got these guys on contract. We have to have them for this show. Let's just all throw them in one match, and that counts as a match.
Yeah, and at least a four-way tag is different than a six-man free-for-all, so it's somewhat different at least. But it's not going to be any more interesting, especially with the people involved here. Like, I really the tag team championships don't mean much to me here. I doubt anybody winning this or anybody retaining this is going to change my mind much. But then again, I'm not necessarily the right person to ask all the time. So, I mean, if anybody else loves it, just let us know. But I don't know. I'm not, as a tag team specialist, I'm very uninspired by the tag team wrestling I'm seeing in Impact thus far since I've been watching regularly.
Well, hopefully you'll be inspired by Father James Mitchell as he makes an appearance as Kimber Lee brings Susan to the back and leaves Susan with Father James Mitchell in hopes of resurrecting Sue Young, the undead bride.
How could you let your friend into a room with a guy like that?
How do you get your eyebrows like that? That's what I want to know. Anybody in the chat, do you know how to get your eyebrows like that?
It's like you can use wax
I would do that for the
or
show.
Vaseline.
I would do my eyebrows like that for the show one day.
What's funny is like he tries to turn them up, but like it's still like the other part is still, you can see it there. Like, yeah, it's like he just looks gross in that jacket with no shirt. Like, I'm just
man of the cloth. How dare you say such things about a man of the cloth?
I wanted to throw up a little bit. Hey, I'm glad Canada Spaceman could join us. It's I heard some concerning things about some possible mail fraud, so I'm glad you're able to escape the authorities and join us here today.
Well, the Mounties aren't the brightest ones. I mean, we had a Mountie in the WWE at one point in time, so not the brightest guys out there. Are you ready to sign this contract, Vet? I got it right here. I got it right here for you to sign.
Well, both of us are here, so can we do this? Or shouldn't we just have one of us?
Well, I got to get you arrested first.
Okay.
And frame you. I'm gonna have Big Ray pretend to punch me in the face.
We're both bald. It'll work.
Oh man! So we come out for the contract signing, and we find out that through hacker magic that Sami Callihan has, that's his super special power. He
not as good as teleporting, but pretty decent. Well, we've seen him teleport nonetheless.
We have him revealing that Callis faked it with the help of Johnny Swinger and Johnny Bravo, hence why Swinger's Paradise was closed. What's going on there? They had other things to do with Moose. Yeah. I mean, I think it all leads to Moose. All roads lead to Moose.
All roads should and do eventually lead to Moose. I will say I'll give them credit for that level of continuity that they tried to show here with these things that the WWE doesn't even attempt to try to put on with their all their foolishness that they do on a weekly basis. So, like, props for that. Props for using the security camera footage, and trying to make it look like something that could somewhat feasibly happen. It's still just in the dressed up like pro wrestling, but at least they're making an effort.
Well, Sami Callihan makes an effort as he power bombs and pile drives Kenny Omega and signs his contract. I wish he had done it all at once. Like put Kenny in the between the legs, sign the contract, and then pick him up and power bomb him, or
sign it on his back and stab him with the pen. How about that?
And then drive him through the table after he drive him through the table with the contract on it. That's how he signs it.
Signed it in blood. So as you can see,
apparently you've made it to the
main roster,
and as you're doing it next level now with Big Ray.
Big leagues. Well, first of all, I mean, we started on NXT. Like, I started with you on NXT. And second of all, Colin's in the real big leagues. He does this shit on the side. And that's why sometimes have to delay these things or whatever. So, but, I'm committed to getting you an Impact attack, even if it's 9 days from the night.
9 days from tonight.
I don't care if I have to. We've done doubles before. We've done doubles and even almost a triple once. I think, didn't we do one that had like 2 episodes and a pay-per-view? Like,
and a pay-per-view all rolled into one, yep.
And we still brought it in under 2 hours. So, if you guys want to know about Impact so you don't have to watch this godforsaken mess, then, well, it's less of a mess and just more of a...
No, it really wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, they tied in the Swingers Palace with the videotape. But
it's
yeah,
okay,
I mean,
Canada Spaceman. I still got love for you.
Yeah, we all love everybody here. What would this be? This is just a big love fest.
It really did. It really did. We got, if any episode where I get to use my
Guards! More guards!
drop, it's always good. We came up with a new segment for the vet that you missed out on, Canada Spaceman. We're gonna call it
Another one.
Well, that I hit 2 buttons at once. Didn't mean to, but
Another one.
The another one segment where he just goes on and on and on with IWC comments that are ridiculous.
I kind of like the another one with the I Cabron because
Another one.
it works. See, even we're so good, even accidents produce great quality content. So, is WWE and AEW doing anything better than Impact? Yes. WWE is
Roman Reigns. That's about it.
Yes, they're doing Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman and all that stuff better than Impact. And AEW is signing people from WWE better than Impact. So, I mean, those are 2 things right off the bat. But other than that, don't really know. Yeah, AEW has tag teams, but they're not doing enough. I'm disappointed with their tag team division just as well as the Impact tag team. I'm disappointed with everyone's tag team division. Does anybody have a tag team division in this fucking world right now? Because I can't think of one.
New Japan?
I like the matches that they have in New Japan, but there's very few actual tag teams there. Like the tag team champions right now are Tai Chi and Zack Sabre Jr. And they haven't been tagging for that long. I guess they're a tag team now, but a couple years ago, you wouldn't have. And God hasn't been there for a while, so AAA. I haven't watched AAA, so I don't know. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say no, because I've seen Lucha Libre and their tag team matches are just a little different than my particular taste.
Well, that's it. That sounds like the go home music there, Vet. Got to interrupt you with some music there. Let everybody know where they can find you, Vet.
Well, as usual, you can find me on social media at Opinion Haver and anywhere that you can find social media platforms. I'm there.
And he's probably going to be playing WWE Battlegrounds because it is free on PlayStation Plus.
Definitely
this month.
not doing that. I am not playing.
Come on,
that.
you were begging me earlier to come and play with you earlier. Jeez,
no,
come on.
That's a lie. That never happened. I would tell you if that happened, and it certainly did not. It is a free game, and I did not even add it to my library. That's how much I'm not going to play it.
It's so terrible.
But yes, so you can find me there. You can find me on Wednesdays. However, this week will be a Thursday where you'll find Big Ray and myself doing the Next Level Wrestling reviews. So as Colin vibes out to whatever Kenny calls the song, Battle Cry or something. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, well, I just got reminded of something I was about to do. I haven't actually watched it yet, but I was going to. Like as I was waiting to record this show, I was actually, had the episode on, but now this is not necessarily a tag team match, playa, but it was from this last episode of Ring of Honor. The Briscoes had like a cinematic match against each other. Now,
I've heard about that. I heard that was pretty good.
Bro, the Briscoe brothers are my favorite tag team. Like, it's sad that they're good in Ring of Honor and they have good matches in Ring of Honor. And my only complaint is that there's just not enough. They need to work with more people and really be out there and getting seen, because they're way too good at not even just the wrestling part. Who cares? Like, I don't care if they're two Ultimate Warriors, but like those guys' characters and promos. That's what wrestling's like all about, man. Like, that's what it's supposed to be. Two believable characters. The Briscoe brothers are fucking great. And they are good tag team wrestlers too. So there is that. That's like a nice bonus though. Cause those chicken farmers from Sandy Fork, Delaware, that is just everything that's good about wrestling. So I'll put those guys over, and then maybe next time I'll give my little review of that match once I watch it, because I'm not a fan of cinematic matches, so I want to see how they do it. But yeah, so yes, you will see me at Opinion Haver everywhere. You will see me on Next Level Wrestling Review. You will see me on Impact Attack and anywhere else that I need to fill in. Whenever Smack Attack does their panel that they're planning to do for the first live SmackDown with fans in Houston or whatever it is, I'm going to be on that show talking with a bunch of the guys. So look forward to that. And just keep your eyes on HMG. You never know where the vet will pop up. And Colin?
Yeah, that's right, guys. You can find me each and every week, I guess, for right now, here with the vet on the Impact Attack when we get this thing up and running. And every Tuesday at 7:30 on twitch.tv/The A Show, where we are also on Patreon, where $1 gets you access to all episodes of The A Show, plus quotations of Illumination with Aaron, where he goes over a quote and kind of talks about it and how you can use that in your life. And Just the Tip with April, where she gives you beauty, health tips, all kinds of great tips about life. You're getting Just the Tip with April.
That'd be $1.
That'd be $1. But now for $5, we do have the backstage. After the show goes off the air, we do a little backstage portion where Aaron tells some great stories. The most recent episode that we dropped on Patreon, Aaron is wearing a Harley Davidson shirt. And on the backstage, he talks about how he got this Harley Davidson shirt. And there's a pee in a vase story that he tells also in that backstage, and ties into the shirt. It's some really, really fun stuff over there at patreon.com/The A Show. Check us out on Twitch each and every Tuesday. Like I said, watch the NWA. And after NWA Power's over, come over to watch us on Twitch, because you never know, one, who Aaron could bring on, what Aaron could possibly talk about, because he could tie in a lot of his stuff with the NWA on the A show. There's been talks of having
Maybe his tag team champion partner Kratos.
There's been talks of having Santino come on, and even the man from the north, as he likes to call Eric Rowan, or Eric Redbeard. He usually refers to him as the man from the north, but we've been trying to push to get this guy on. And actually, this coming Tuesday, we have Canadian heavyweight former. I don't know if he still is, or he's the Canadian heavyweight champion. His name is Andrew Bird. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, Vet, but this guy has a very interesting story about how he was homeless and how he got into wrestling and how he met his wife. You can go and find the TED Talk. Look up like Andrew Bird TED Talk. He is going to be on the show this Tuesday. Very fascinating story about a guy who was homeless.
I believe I heard of him working in Impact under the name Rich Swann.
Andrew Bird, Rich Swann, yes. But definitely check out that. I'm excited because I watched his TED Talk and I'm just like, yo, that's a very fascinating story. And his just desire and his pursuit to get his goals in the face of all kinds of adversity in his life, and for him to be able to do that, that's amazing. So check that out. And I believe that's it. Make sure you go to patreon.com/Hameen Media Group for all the shows that we have. And I guess we do still have stuff on Podbean, but it's the affiliate channel. I don't believe they've taken that down. And check us all out on YouTube for everything that we do there. Check out Russo's Brand and soon to be the Realm Network. Want to give a shout out to Mandeer for kicking ass with those animated Master Shoot theaters. They are freaking hilarious. Sonic the Hedge Rat is, of course, late, but you're never late to the party, sir. You just made a spectacular entrance. Have you seen this man's Twitter profile picture?
Yes.
It is spectacular, and I would imagine he just came into the chat room just like his Twitter profile picture there. Sonic the Hedge Rat, shout out to you as we sign off here with your Impact Attack. I guess on YouTube and on patreon.com/Hameen Media Group.
That's right. Well, give him the sign off. Hit the button.
Goodbye. Mwah. Good night.